Hey, welcome to the show. We're at another Thursday night SpeakPipe show where we are going to talk about your messages that you leave. If you guys are interested in leaving a message, by all means, go to speakpipe.com backslash my take on reality, and you can leave a minute and a half message. I think, just so we're clear, I don't have any control over the timing of the messages. Is not a drop down for me to be able to select. It just kind of is what the system is. But I do allow folks to leave more than one message. So if you want to participate in the show, you're more than welcome. If you guys can hear me and see me, just drop a one in the chat. That way I'm sure I'm not sitting here talking to myself on this fine Thursday afternoon. Yeah, and we can get kicked off in a moment. See what we're talking about. All right. Pop that over. All right, I see some ones and fours, threes and fours. Not sure what that means. We double can't hear you or see you. What's going on, Nicole? Yeah, so yeah, very excited to get to these speak pipes. From what I recall, we don't have a lot of speak pipes, so this might actually be a relatively short show. Before we get into it too much, I have just one thing to mention. There was a somebody left a speak pipe, and they made really good points. Right, I'm not gonna bullshit around. Made really good points, and they left a few messages, and then they decided to say, you know what? I was a little heated when I left those previous messages. Please don't play my message. And I'm here to tell you, I don't disagree with what you were saying. I'll respect your position that you didn't want the messages played. So I'm not going to play the messages, but I hear what you were saying and I understand where you're coming from. Andrew, who's Andrew? Who's Andrew? Oh, Prince Andrew. Yeah. Some countries ain't playing around with that with the whole Epstein stuff. They taking it dead ass serious. If you in the files, we looking. And if we find out you did something nefarious, you will be brought to justice. So without further ado, let's get into the speak pipes, see what folks have to say. Oh wow. Wow. Let me I gotta shift some stuff around. Yeah, the way a lot of the systems were working, as far as the as far as the where we are now, like I think that there's some interesting points that we'll get into, especially when we talk about where do we move from here. Like, where do we go as a community? Where do we go as far as viewership is concerned? And I'm going to be honest. I'll be deadly honest. I'm not even going to say I'm going to be honest, because I think I've been honest the entire time. As far as my viewpoint, folks might not like it, but it is what it is. When it comes down to it, the problem that I think Sister Wives is going to struggle with is, not just what story they're going to tell, but how much of that story are they really going to reveal. And then even if they do come out and have an epiphany with this season, we're going to go tell everything. run and tell that we going balls to the wall. We just gonna let it all out. Because they've taken the positions they've taken historically, how many people are actually going to believe them? And even if if you were new to watching the series, and you started watching in season 18, season 19, what are you watching? You're watching a bunch of relative strangers go through basic life changes. Robin's daughter getting married or getting baptized. Robin's daughter getting a boyfriend. Cody saying he cares about his wife. Christine, Mary Janelle potentially saying that they don't like their ex. Like what makes you if you're in the market to sit down for an hour to watch a reality show, what about this show is making you stay? Like what's interesting about what's happening on this show? Or more to the point, what are they showing you on this show that they aren't showing you on every other show that's on TV? You understand what I mean? Oh, I guess next season we get to watch Aurora potentially get proposed to, and maybe we get to watch a wedding special with her getting married. If you're new to the show, why do you care? A wedding special only really cements itself in when you know the character, you're familiar with the character, you care about the character. But if you don't, the wedding special doesn't mean anything. If you went to a movie theater tomorrow and you were going to watch an action film with Jason Statham, and he's playing a guy, and he's out in the theater, and he shows up to an event, and he comes in, and then some trouble starts, and it turns out he's at a wedding, and the bride or the groom get all lumped up or beat up or whatever, and he jumps in and he saves the day using the kung fu skills. Is anybody saying, what about the bride? What about her special day? Oh my gosh, Jason Statham was jump kicking and slap kicking some fool across the kitchen table. And then what about the bride and her special day? You know, they put a lot of time, energy, and money into this event. And now they're not going to have their special day because it's been ruined. Nobody gives a shit. They're going to talk about how high Jason Statham was kicking, how many butts he kicked during the event, but nobody cares. Because that's how television and stuff works. And even with the fans who've been watching the show, I can maybe count on 3 fingers the amount of fans who actually care about Robin's kids' relationships, whether they're marriages or dating somebody or what's going on with them. Not because they're nasty people or they're just hateful people. It's just because they're not exposed to their kids. They were never exposed to their kids. They don't have a relationship with those kids. So there's no investment in their future or what's going on with them in current events. So I think that's a problem that they're kind of going to have. And that's why I keep asking when I say that they're going to have a problem moving forward, I think I'm not just looking at it from the respect of I don't want Cody and Robin to get money or I want bad things to happen to the OG3. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm looking at is what are they showing you on this show to put butts in the seat? What makes people say, you know what? I'm going to spend anywhere from $20 to $80 a month so that I have access to this program because this is must-see TV. And half the time, let's be honest, this is barely watch TV. If you just came in season 18, 19, I don't think most people will make it through the season, much less to the tell-alls, where they don't hear anything. And that's one of the things I was been talking about when I walked in and my wife was watching Real Housewives of Potomac, their tell-all. Their tell-alls are way more informative. I know more about I never watched the Real Housewives of Potomac. But I never watched a full episode of that show. But watching the tell-all, I know more about what's going on with those women than I do about the Browns over the last 5 seasons. And as I'm watching that, to be honest with you, that's where I start to feel ripped off. That's where I feel like a fool because I'm sitting up here watching the show. You got stars of the show coming out complaining that, oh, the YouTubers and Reddit people are connecting dots that shouldn't be connected, and they're creating these theories and stuff when you guys don't tell us shit. You don't give us the full information, and you want to complain about the information that comes out. In addition to the fact that the only reason why this show is still even on the air, if I'm going to be all the way honest, I think that the only reason why this show is even still on the air is because of people like Katie Joy from Without a Crystal Ball, or Sarah Howe, or See Your Perspective, Jenny from See Your Perspective, different places like that. And maybe even this channel to a smaller degree. The only reason why the show is still on the air is because we spend time trying to hype the show up and trying to find ways that the show is interesting. And even though people watch the episode and like, ain't shit happened. No, guys, what you missed was this, this, and this. Let me connect those dots for you and show you why this shit is important. Because if you stand alone on just what's presented on the show, they don't tell you anything on the show. We have to go back. 9 times out of 10, the content creators have to go back and piece it using documents from I'm about to say the township or their county name, but we have to go to the county, find documents. Then we have to link those documents up. That's how we found out about Coyote Pass, the ownership levels, who owns what on Coyote Pass, how it was listed. If it wasn't for the YouTubers doing that work, Starcasm, The Sun doing that work, they never would have told us about that. And now they want to show up and complain because we did the work for you. We're telling your story for you. We keep your audience in line and keep them watching and waiting for this show to air. And you guys are going to have the audacity to sit there and complain about us? That's where I'm like, I mean, it's not even so much like I'm insulted by the fact that you guys talking shit. But look, let's keep it all the way a buck. You know, let's keep it all the way a buck. Like, you guys sit there, like, they sit there, and what annoys the shit out of me, and I'm going to keep it all the way a buck because fuck it. I'm going to keep it all the way a buck. What annoys me more than anything else, even beyond a lot of that stuff, is the feeling I get when they come out and act like try to sun the fans and people who have been watching the show, supporting them and their lifestyle for 20 seasons, and act like you're a loser because you watch their show. Like there's something wrong with you because you know about their life and their situation. I don't know why y'all all worried about what I'm doing. Y'all need to worry about your life. I don't know why you trying to put my stuff together. You need to worry about you. If it wasn't for those people who putting that shit together, and those people who are worried about your situation, and those people who concern themselves with watching your show, you guys would still be in Lehigh, Utah right now, living in that damn 3-bedroom or that 3-apartment house. Like, it's just like one of the things that just annoys the shit out of me is when you like, okay, fine, you have an opportunity, you took advantage of that opportunity, you took it where it could go, you benefited from it. I'm not mad at that. I'm not hating on that at all. What I dislike is when you're not appreciative of the people who supported you on your way up. And there's an old saying, there's an old saying. When you first enter corporate America, it's almost, of course, there's CYA, cover your ass. That's like a golden rule. Another golden rule, not only in corporate America, but certainly in entertainment, because they stand in today. They're the guy running the carts today, and tomorrow they might have a multi-billion-dollar movie franchise. But the saying is just basically this: be careful whose toes you step on today, because they might be connected to the ass you got to kiss tomorrow. Understand what I mean? Be careful what toes you step on today, because they might be connected to the ass you have to kiss tomorrow. And as you sitting there, you trying to belittle people and you making fun of people, you telling people that they dumb and they wasting their time trying to figure out what's going on with you, and they wasting their time. They need to get a life and all that other shit that this cast has been saying about fan base. what you have to recognize is the worst thing that can happen to y'all is the fans stop watching your show. Because what do you guys have going on outside of this show? Let's call it what it is. What do you have going on outside this show? This show ends, if TLC came to y'all and said, you know what? The viewership isn't there. When season 17 ended, we had 4 million people tuning in each week to watch the show. Watch Christine leave Cody. Now in season 20, we had 400,000 people each week watching the show, which is a ridiculous cut. It's a ridiculous cut. And you know what? We decided that we're no longer going to pursue TLC Sister Wives. Instead, we're going to go in a different direction. What do you guys do on day one of being released from TLC? Oh, we don't want to talk bad about each other. Good the fuck luck. Good luck. Good luck. Oh, James, you bashing him. I'm not bashing him. What I'm doing is I'm sticking up for myself. What I'm doing is I'm sticking up for the fans who are watching the show each week. Fans who care enough about them to where you're concerned. Even when people come up to me all the time. I'm not even going to say who it is. I bet you'll be able to guess. People come up to me all the time and say I should leave Cody. And I turn around and tell them, mind your business. You don't know what's going on. I'm sitting here watching this dude mistreat you. Then all of a sudden, as soon as you go to leave, now you want to talk shit about Cody. 10 minutes ago, you told me when I was saying the same shit, oh, you ought to leave Cody because he's treating you like this. He ain't giving you what you need, girl. You need to get something, find your self-esteem so you can recognize that you better than this situation. You don't know me. You don't know what I'm about. You don't understand how my loyalty works, blah, blah, blah. Then you turn around. The second you want to be out, then all of a sudden it's, oh, well, I know what I'm worth. And I know that I'm going to elevate myself and I'm going to find my peace and I'm going to protect my peace because I'm worthy of it. Fans have been telling you that shit for years. Now all of a sudden I'm a bully because I pointed out. Make the shit make sense. Make it make sense. You tell me that I don't know, I don't understand what's happening. Everything we see on TV is wrong. Everybody is telling the truth. Everybody involved is a good person. But then you want to threaten to come out with a tell-all book to tell us what? Tell us what? And you rely on the fact that you sit in comfort in the fact that people are against Cody and Robin. And people against them, not because, oh, we just sense that Cody and Robin are evil. We're against them because of what they show on the show. And now y'all spending most of your time saying that the show shit ain't real. But then you want to sell a book talking about how bad he was. I'm sorry. What I expect is it's not even that I'm trying to be mean. I'm genuinely not trying to be mean and I'm not trying to be nasty. I'm not trying to bully nobody who been bullied and they suffered because they was victims of this, that, and the other. I'm just merely pointing out the fact that what they're doing is inconsistent. And what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to apologize for pointing that shit out. And I'm not going to apologize for telling the truth. I'm not going to apologize for saying what a thing is. When I see a thing, I call a thing a thing. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't see it because, oh, that might make them feel bad. Just saying. I get it. People be mad at me because I say what I say and I talk the way I talk. But I'm here to tell you, this is how I roll. This is how I roll. It's not me being mean. It's not me being nasty. It's not me bullying on nobody and picking on people and being negative. Because when I was sitting up talking shit about Cody and Robin, nobody was saying I was being negative. When I said that Cody needs to be a better father, nobody wrote me and said, James, you being negative and you need to slow down. You need to give him a chance. You got to understand the way he was raised. Nobody was saying that shit to me then. when I sat there and criticized Robin for backstabbing and sliding on these people and taking money and resources away from the family and being selfish. Nobody came out and said, James, you got to understand the way she was raised in a household where she was brought up in a family where her mom was treated as a second tier wife and she was treated as a second tier child because her father, her stepfather, has spent Monday through Friday with his original family and came through and slept with her mom on the weekend and spent time with her on the weekend, turning her into a weekend booty call. And she got to watch that. So when she decided she wanted to participate in polygamy, it makes perfect sense that she would try to be in the first position and not in the second position that her mom found herself in. That shit makes sense to me. But I don't hear nobody saying that shit. James, you being nasty, you being mean, why you trying to bully on Robin? No. When I was saying that, I was cool. Now all of a sudden, I'm pointing out the inconsistencies of what some of these other people are saying. Now all of a sudden, I'm an asshole. It is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, and I like to think, I'm not saying I'm a herald or a beacon or something special. I'm just merely saying that from my perspective, when it comes to my integrity, if I see something wrong, I say it's wrong without fear nor favor. I have people I like, I have people I love. If you make a mistake, I will tell you that you made a mistake. I'm not going to sit here, when my kids go out, and I never understood parents who do this shit. If my kids go out and do something horrendous, I'm not going to sit here and deny and try to cover up and hide and conceal. I never understood parents who kids go out and will be doing like the most terrible thing to people. The father who, I'll give an example, the father whose son was a swimmer in college, went to a bar, came out, and there was a young lady who was passed out by a dumpster. And he decided that he was going to take her pants down and crawl on top of her. Two guys come up and pull him off of him, hold him down. And the dad sitting there talking about, the dad and the judge in that case, because he wound up getting a crazy low sentence. And he couldn't even serve like I think he got like 9 months or something like that. And he only did 2 or 3 months. And the judge came back and was like, we can't ruin this young man's life over a college decision. And his dad was like, y'all need to stop talking about it. He was young and he made a mistake. That's not a freaking mistake. I'm not saying I'll stop loving my child if they make that kind of thing, but I'm not going to sit there and pretend like that's not what you did and what you did isn't disgusting. And that's not representative of the kind of person that I am, nor is it representative of the type of person that I raised you to be. I'm not that one. I'm not the parent who's going to sit there and hold your hand and try to hide bodies. If you come out, Bill Burr had a great joke. He said, I'll go out play ball with my son, and he'll talk about like, yeah, I knocked 4 or 5 people over. And he's like, I'll go out play ball with him and talk, sometimes shit goes the wrong way. But we calling the cops at the end of this little exchange. You're turning yourself in at the end of this. You're turning yourself in. And I'll do what I can to support you. But we're going to go to you going to jail. Like, I don't understand. Like, if I would do that to my son, why would I do that for 3, 4 strangers or 5 strangers who live in Utah? If you do something wrong, I'm going to call it out for doing the wrong thing. Simple as that. And to be honest with you, I say to anybody who would say to me, but James, that shows a sign of disloyalty. I say, one, that's the most loyal thing you can do, is to be honest with people that you care about, because you're not setting them up for a bigger fall later on. 2, just like when these folks come out and say, yeah, I lied, because I was trying to make money. Yeah, I lied because I was trying to keep the show going. Yeah, I lied for whatever reason you lied because I was trying to make polygamy look good. When they go to tell the truth or any story that they tell after that, it has to be filtered through the real possibility and the real likelihood that they also may be lying about whatever it is they're saying. They have had how much opportunity to come out between the OG3 specifically, even Robin. You guys have had so many opportunities to come out and talk about what happened with you and Cody. Talk about how he treated you, neglected you, how he wasn't taking care of his kids. You've had so many opportunities to do that. And every time we, as the audience who have encouraged you to do it, have come back and said, y'all don't understand what's going on. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all need to stop making shit up. These are good people. He's a good man. Then when the show ends or the show starts slowing down, everybody talk about writing a tell-all book. To tell us what? To tell us what? What are you going to tell us exactly? You going to tell us the shit we've been asking for years? And again, when we filter it through, are they lying because they lied to us before? They've lied to us for advantage before. They lied to us to get to the money bag before. So what makes me think that you wouldn't lie now that there's more incentive for you to lie? There's more incentive for you to lie now because the show is slowing down and dying. And that last pitch for a tell-all book is clearly a money grab. And you've been telling us the whole time that there's nothing to see here. He's a great father. He's a great husband. Things were just misunderstood. We don't understand what's happening because we only see an hour out of their lives and we only spend a small amount of time on some highly edited, highly curated storylines that TLC has come up with, which is not representative of the truth. But now all of a sudden you're going to come out with a tell-all book that's basically going to lay out what we've been saying and seeing on the show the whole time. I'm just saying, people. I'm just saying. James, why are you going on? Why are you talking bad about the sister wives? Why you're helping Cody and Robin bully them? No, I'm not. Because what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to suspend my intelligence. I'm not going to dim my light. I'm not going to do none of the shit that I said that Robin or Mary, Christine, and Janelle shouldn't be doing with their relationship with Cody. What you're seeing now is consistency. Because how many times have I gotten on this platform and said, don't never let somebody come into your life and dim your light. Don't never let somebody come in, you know the right thing, but you're going to pretend that you don't see the right thing or know the right thing because you're trying to be somebody's friend or you're trying to get favor from somebody. That's consistency. That's consistency. I'm putting into practice the very thing we've all been talking about with regard to Mary, Christine, and Janelle and how they dealt with Cody. Them having pride in themselves to not allow somebody to come into their situation and augment something that they know is real. And tell them that, oh yeah, don't believe your lying ass eyes or your common damn sense. You need to listen to what I tell you and stop paying attention to the things that you have already been exposed to or the things that are contradictory to the things that I'm saying. And I get it. You know, some people going to be mad at me. I've already had I already got my nasty grams. That's all right. Keep them coming. I don't give a shit. Like I said, if you ever want to come on the show and you have a problem with what I say, then I have every outlet for you to come on the show. I don't ban people for disagreeing with me. I don't ban people for having differences of opinion. I don't ban or block people because they don't believe in what I believe. If you want to say something that's contrary to what I'm saying, if you think I'm picking on Cody or the OG3 or what I'm saying or doing is wrong, by all means, leave a SpeakPipe. Say it in the chat. Say it on or during a call-in show. I will contact me via my email, my take on reality questions at gmail.com, and say, James, I don't like what you're saying. I want to come on your show and I want to have a discussion. I will make a show for you. I'll organize a time with you. We could do it live. We could record it, whatever the case may be, and we could have a conversation. It's like that. I'm not running. I'm not hiding. I'm not ducking. I'm not telling people that they can't talk to me. The only people who do that shit are the people who on damn Sister Wives. Don't ask me no direct questions. I don't want to talk to the fans of the audience directly. That's not what I do. Like I said, if you guys disagree with me, by all means, I'm willing to say I could be wrong. Maybe I'm making a mistake. Maybe I'm missing something. But I'm just saying, too, there's something got to give with this bullshit. You know, something got to give. Because I can't, like, you know, I'm not the one. I'm not the one, the two, or the three. I can't sit there and be like, oh, yeah, this season was so interesting. Oh, my gosh. When Robin said this, that reminded me back in 1953. Like, what? Robin didn't say shit. Cody didn't say shit. Robin just sat there and looked like she was eating a lemon the whole damn time. Cody looked like he was popping Adderall and Coke the whole time. I'm probably going to get fucking banned for that. I don't know. But he's sitting there all hyped up in anger and like agitated, like he high as hell. You understand what I mean? And he coming off hostile and angry. I'm just going to sit here and try to yell at you real now and just talk fast and say a whole bunch of shit in a circle. And in that way, you can't keep track of anything that I said. I'm going to say one thing that I'm going to contradict it in the next 5 seconds, but you better not bring that shit up. What are we doing? Don't ask me no serious questions, and damn sure don't ask me no follow-ups. And like I said, look, that shit hurt me to my soul. When my wife was watching that Potomac shit, just go back. If y'all have access to Bravo, just go back and watch the last one. They air on Sunday, according to my wife. They air on Sunday. Just watch the last. I don't even know. I know nothing about Potomac. I know nothing about Potomac. What I do know is one of the people who is on Potomac was arrested after the season ended. Like, she had put in a false police report. And she said somebody broke in a house and stole a bunch of jewelry that was worth like $400,000 or whatever. And then they caught pictures. She filed a police report, filed an insurance claim. And then they found pictures of her when she went on vacation, her and her husband wearing the shit. And that's a no-no. And she got charged. And this all happened after the season ended. But Andy Cohen, the host of that show, asked her specifically about those charges. Now, you think that woman wanted to sit there and have that damn conversation? You think she wanted to talk about that shit? I'd be willing to bet no. But she did. On Sister Wives, we are having conversations about events that happened 10 years ago. We're having conversations about how Janelle came into the family almost 40 years ago. And that's the hot breaking news. A sale that happened as far as Coyote Pass, that sale, they've been trying to sell Coyote Pass actively for about 5 years. Right? Because they were never going to build on Coyote Pass. It's a non-starter. It was a non-starter from the beginning. And they've been talking about trying to sell that shit for the last 4 or 5 years. And they just sold it because Cody sold his house. And that was last year that shit happened. And we're supposed to sit here, oh, that's amazing. Oh my gosh. They told us something that happened a year ago. Aren't we up to date? No, we aren't up to date. Like I said, Andy's asking about shit on that show that happened like last month. We begging them to find out information that happened almost 2 years ago. Still won't talk about shit that happened 10 years ago with the catfish. I'm just saying, like, I you know, I can't, like, it's just, it's not even so much I'm like I said, I'm not even mad at that. I'm more mad at the fact that everything just comes off like a money grab anymore. And I'll probably, and here's the crazy part. I might not even be as mad about everything being about money because you guys want to be little business people or whatever. Cool. You want to monetize stuff? Cool. That's why, you making money. I won't begrudge you that fact. But when you sit there and try to, you come up with like little plans and things that aren't really helping people, and you start trying to take advantage of people, and you're not even appreciative of the people who are spending their time, energy, and supporting you, it's crazy to me. We had a couple super chats. Oh, it's Just Scrapping. What's up, Just Scrapping? Wait, hold on a second. Got a little Just Scrapping intro.
Could be watching chefs burn pots in the kitchen, or influencers fake fights for attention. Drama queens with crowns, but no conviction. But now you're here. My addiction could click that, prank that, mukbang feast, or streams of gamers slaying beats. But you're here with me, not scrolling free, not lost in streams or reality. You're here with me where you wanna be, out the algorithm, just you and me.
All right, that's Just Scrapping. One of them Just Scrapping masterpieces. Send me a couple of them. It's hot, too hot for TV. Only play the whole thing because it'll bring you up. But we got Just Scrapping with the $9.99 super chat. Said, your last live words were so awesome. I agree with the 90 Day Fiance comparison and the OG adults money grab, and TLC taking advantage of viewers and Sister Wives fans base. 100%. We have been waiting for them before, to be honest, for too long. Yeah, it's getting too long in the tooth. And that's just where I'm at. Like, I said that one of the problems that the OG3 is going to have, because there is a window where they all could have came out with tell-all books, and they could have cleaned up. They could have cleaned up. I'm talking about bestsellers, New York Times bestsellers. I'm talking about money. I'm talking about interviews. I'm talking about they could have cleaned up, right? But it's rounding a corner. It's getting to a point now where even if they come out with a tell-all book, who's really going to care? I mean, people will buy the books and stuff. I'm not saying nobody's going to buy it. It's going to be a total failure, but it's not going to be anything, depending on when the book comes out, it might hit a New York Times bestseller list, but it's not going to do it just because they come out with a book and people are like just breaking their necks to get to the book. Like, that time is kind of like, it's getting long in the tooth. The time that they actually could have capitalized on a tell-all book was actually season 17. When season 17 ended and they were negotiating their new contracts, if one of them would have dropped a book after the end of season 17, maybe at the end of season 18, cleaned up. Because we was all bored in by like season 17. Everybody was bored in. People were coming back who had not watched this show for years, were coming back to watch what was going on after season 17 and see what happened in season 18. But you're getting to a point now, especially with this whole bullshit talk about, oh, well, we all need to get along and we all need to be friends. And guys, we're going to have a reunion where we're all going to get together and enjoy each other's company. I have zero interest in watching that shit because it's fake as a $3 bill. It makes, and here's the problem that I struggle with. You guys, James, you and your channel just hate on the OG3s. No, you know what I hate on? Stupid shit. I hate on shit that don't make sense to me. That's what I hate on. And it has nothing to do with, and I know there's like a whole mantra of like, oh, you just don't understand the culture. That has nothing to do with it. If I leave a situation where I'm being mistreated and or abused, and I somehow find the courage to get out, it doesn't make sense that I'm going to keep reintroducing myself back into that problem. especially if I don't have to. I'm not there anymore because I don't want to be there anymore. It makes more sense to me that you would be, especially because you're adverse to conflict, that you would avoid the conflict. You know that you get in a room with Cody, he gonna steamroll your ass. Christine basically said that last. I don't want to bother myself by arguing with Cody. No, you're just afraid you're gonna get steamrolled. You don't have the spine to stick up to him. I mean, you try to make shit sound like you a hero all you want, but that's what it comes off to me. You just saying that you don't have it to stick up to him. You can't say shit. There's no. I'm not even saying it like, oh, you bad person. Look, if you get abused for a number of years by a person at the hands of a person like, how I think or how it's presented that Cody was treating her. No, I don't think that you're gonna be in a position where you ready to start rumbling first time you see him. Even if you have been going for a few years and you are married, I don't think you're ready. And I think that it does more damage than good to take somebody who is in that situation and put them back into that, reintroduce them into that situation before they're ready, before they built their armor up, before they learn how to defend themselves, before they learn how to stand up for themselves. Because all you're doing is just putting them back into a cycle where they become the same person they were when they were getting abused, no matter how far they come, no matter how many accomplishments they've made. No matter how, like, she could be happy with David, talking to David. Cody gets in a room with her. He says 3 sentences to her, like 3 put together sentences. All of a sudden, she's the exact same person she was when she walked out on him in the first place during the course of their marriage. That's not me being an asshole. That's just me understanding that this is how things work. When people have suffered and they survive certain types of relationships, that's what happens. You could have somebody who was abused as a child grow up, be separate and apart from the person who was mistreating them for decades. They get married, they go on, they become powerful people in their job, in their occupation. They run into that person who did that thing to them when they were a child, and all of a sudden, standing in that person's presence, they become the child that they were when they were getting abused. They could have 3 bodyguards in the car. They could have a whole legion of people working for them back at the office. They could be CEOs, the whole 9. But when they stand in a room with the person who's been mistreating them when they were 5 or 6 or 10 years old, they become that 10-year-old again. That's not even that's not even like me stretching. Like, I'm not even stretching. So no, I have no interest. If I believe that Cody was mistreating these women and treating the kids in a hostile manner, I have no interest in supporting the fact that they should do a reunion and you guys need to all get together so you can be in the same place at the same time because it'll make for good TV. Not for me. That's not good TV as far as I'm concerned. That's the using the audience to help facilitate abuse. We become co-conspirators in that form of abuse. And I don't want to become a non-consenting co-conspirator in that situation. So no, I'm not excited about them trying to force them back together on, into one room on a vacation or some dumb shit. Not interested in it. Why? So they can go somewhere and Cody convinced them to not argue on screen, but off screen, he says all kinds of wild, abusive shit to him. But then when they on screen, they got to sit there and put a fake ass smile on their face and pretend like everything is cool. That's what we doing? Just saying. But thank you so much, Just Scrapping. Let me give you a little something. Oh, God, Judge Boyd up on that. Judge Boyd from Texas. Homegirl don't play. But thank you, Just Scrapping. Um, I said, I know I'm gonna get banged for this one. You just hate them, and that's the crazy thing. Like, I do not hate on OG3. I'm not hating on anybody. I'm just trying to call balls and strikes. I'm being fair. I think it's just fair. I think it's fair. But just scrapping had another one. Said $9.99 super chat. Said what am I going to get from a cruise with Christine? Cruising with Christine. Worthy up from Mary. Adult children estrangement from Janelle. They can all F right off. They don't like their fan base. So I'm out. I'll be here though. Cruising with Christine. Downturn of economy. People barely trying to figure out how to put groceries on the table. And you can spend, like, I looked the cruise up. And I looked it up through, like, because if you go through some of the big box stores, a lot of them have travel departments and they'll give you discounts. I looked up some of the cruise prices. It's a 7-day cruise. I was wrong. It's not 3 days. It's a 7-day cruise. That leaves from New Orleans. And you know, that cruise is pricey. Like, that's an expensive cruise. Like, because you're looking at for per person, I think the room rate for, like, the cheapest room for interior was about $800, $900 per person. If you want an ocean view, you're creeping into about 15. If you want a balcony, that was 27 per person. Suite 3,000, so on and so forth. So crazy expensive. And like I said, unless they have an itinerary, and here's my recommendation. First of all, I'm not endorsing anything, but if you're going to go on a cruise like that, make sure you see what their itinerary looks like. Not the itinerary for the ship, because a cruise is a cruise, right? If you like cruising, okay, it is what it is. You know what it is. But if you're going to go on a cruise with, say, a radio station or a comedian, an actor, or a reality TV personality, they should have events that are specifically set up for you to be able to participate in, meet and greets, bowling with Christine, pool party with Christine, or whatever case, Christine and David, whatever the case may be. You want to make sure that those events, which you probably will wind up paying extra money for, are going to be worth you paying the money. Like, because to be honest with you, a way a lot of this shit works, and I said this before, for those who don't know, like, I knew people who, my parents, I'll use my parents' group as an example. What they used to do is they would block out a certain number of rooms. So they would order rooms from the cruise, and they would say, we want to organize for a group. They have a certain number of rooms. Now, the way my parents' group was set it up, because they were all friends and stuff, they would say, we want a certain group of rooms, different tiers or whatever, and people will buy or select the types of rooms that they want. And then the cruise line would say, okay, if you get so many rooms, then we'll give you X amount of rooms or X amount of upgrades. And based on the money that's saved, they would take that money. So if a room costs, say with the people who were staying there, it was going to cost like $4,000 or $5,000 for the organizer would pay the full amount, right? But they would do deductions across the board so that the money saved would be shared by the entire group. It wasn't just one person benefiting. But if you are doing things more, I won't even say like selfishly, but if you're doing things more business minded wise, you could potentially set up a cruise like, oh, let's go cruising with my take on reality. I want to block out so many rooms. I block those rooms out. And the cruise line, because I organized the event, would give me my room for free. Part of the reason why I say it's important for you to get the itinerary is because if I could get upgraded to the point where I get like a really nice suite on the ship, and if I'm not paying for the suite, I could have room service and shit delivered. If I want to sit there on my deck or my my deck or patio the whole time, I never have to leave that room. And I can spend most of my time in that room, in a room that the My Take people paid for. So what you want to make sure you do is you want to have an itinerary set so you understand when I go on this cruise, I have so many events with Christine or kids or Christine and her husband or whoever is on the ship. If Mary or Janelle come, then we have that too. Dance the night away with Christine. Like, you understand what I mean? And that's where it makes sense to me. The idea of like Mary with Worthy Up. Worthy Up from what? Mary won't even give a true, and this is just my criticism of the whole thing. In order for you to do a Worthy Up, you have to explain your losses. It's not just about you talking about how great you are and how easy it was for you to win, but you have to explain to people why what that winning looks like and why that winning is important. And part of that explanation is the fact that you have to explain your losses and describe your losses. This is how far I came. This is where I was. This is my arc. This is how I developed these skills. I'm in the same position you may be in now, and this is how I got out. As opposed to approaching it like I already have it figured out because this is always who I was. I was always the shit. And so if you're suffering, and that speaks directly to the people who are paying you, because why would I pay somebody to teach me how to go from being a poor person to a rich person when that person was born with a trust fund? You don't know what it's like to be poor, but I expect you to teach me how to get out of poverty. You know what it's like to your father, when he died, he left you $20 million to invest in a business. Most people in the country, people die. Let's be honest. The average American doesn't own a home. When their people pass, it's more likely that you will inherit bills or debt than you will inherit assets. Let's keep it a buck. So because you're starting off at less than zero, you need somebody who's going to teach you how to operate and move and maneuver from a position of less than zero. Not somebody who's going to teach you how to do it when you have backstops, safety nets. And to be honest with you, you don't ever have to open a business. You don't ever have to hang a shingle. You don't have to do none of that shit. All you have to do is just not blow your trust fund. So how you going to teach me how to do it? You never did it. You know? So, I mean, that becomes the thing. As far as Janelle, she would have to explain why she was estranged from her kids. And it's not just, the thing with Cody. Oh, well, my husband, my ex, my kids don't want to hang out with him. Because, of course, if you watch the show, like, of course they want to hang out with him because based off how he treated them. They're protecting their peace. But the people that you're trying to ingratiate, like parents who feel like they've been estranged from their kids, I feel like most of those parents feel like they've been unduly or unjustly estranged from their kids, estranged from their grandkids. And they did the best they could to try to be a part of their kids' lives, but those kids, for whatever reason, decided they no longer wanted to participate with the parents. And so for you to talk to them, how you gonna come to me and tell me how to build my relationship with my kids when you got a perfect relationship with your kids? You get along with your kids. So I mean, and that is a huge market. And it's just like, it just feels like, and I don't want to be an asshole. Again, I say that all the time. Like, I really don't want to be an asshole about it, but it just feels kind of grimy. It feels more like a money push than something you're passionate about. Because here's my thing too. If any of these things were things that you guys were passionate about, people wouldn't necessarily have to pay you for you to impart that wisdom to them. And I know, like, I don't know. Maybe that's why my channel isn't as big as other people's channel. You give away too much, James. But I think that if I have something that I want to say, and I think that there's a message or so an observation that I wanted to share with the group, I want as many people as possible to hear that message. I want to give them that consistency. I want to give them that value so that way they're getting something from that interaction. What I'm not going to do is say, hey guys, and I have never done, if you watch, I've never done this. I've never said, hey guys, I have this, 5-point bullet plan that will help you to improve blah, 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 or increase your relationships or get you the job that you want to have or help you lose the weight you want to lose or put you in whatever position you want to be in, bop, bop, bop. But you got to sign. All you got to do is sign up for my memberships where we're going to have a seminar where we're going to talk about it. If I have something that I want to say, I just say it. I just say it. Now, would it be nice if a bunch of people subscribe to the channel, like the videos and stuff, and I could make some decent money off YouTube? Yeah, that'd be awesome. But that's not me making content to make money. That's me making hopefully something that people value and appreciate, and me being rewarded or compensated for something that is actually providing value for people's lives. Not me seeking value or seeking monetization or increased money and trying to figure out ways that I can sell you something. Because I think that shit, like, is just, I don't know, it just comes off wicked to me. Like, if I have a message, like, could you imagine, like, if you grew up a Christian, could you imagine, like, I never read in the Bible where Jesus was sitting around like, yo, I got the message, son. And if you want to hear the message, just meet me down by the synagogue at 5:30. Bring $400. And I'm going to tell you how to get into heaven. You know what I mean? And he actually had a message worth listening to. So who the hell am I to sit up here and be like, no? Join the memberships for $400. And I'm going to tell you a bunch of stuff that I've never demonstrated that I have any knowledge of. I don't know. I don't know. But let me give just scrap a little something. Then we'll get to the messages. I promise. Then we have Allison Gatus with the $1.99 super chat. Said they can't handle the truth. Here, Jack Nichols. You can't handle it. You want the truth? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. The truth will hurt your feelings. 100%. But I mean, like, look, the truth will make you stronger. Truth hurts. Sometimes the truth hurts. Truth drives you crazy, But a lie doesn't help anybody. And thank you so much, Allison. Appreciate you. Livy Lulu said start a cult. I'll invest. And that's just where I'm at. Like, I think that and maybe that's why I resist the whole idea and notion that you can't criticize this one or that one. Because that shit is kind of culty to me. And I don't know. I have a natural aversion to want to participate in anything that I have to follow blindly. Like, this person is on your side. We can't ever question them. This person is on your side. You can never say anything bad about them ever. Like, that always kind of, you know what I mean? Like, just trust me, bro. You know, yeah. Livy Lulu said, James, that's why good people like us ain't rich, because we have integrity. Yeah, integrity is expensive. You know, I always said that. Like, you know, my biggest struggle is the fact that it's hard for me to sell out. I can't do it. You know, I've had more than a few opportunities where I could have said some things or did some things I didn't believe or went against my core values. And I could be sitting in a much better financial situation than I'm in now. But, you know, at the end of the day, I got to be able to look myself in the mirror. I want to be the kind of person who is an example for my kids. Like, I want my kids to be able to say, when I pass or I leave, I want them to at least be able to say, you know what? My dad might not have been perfect, but he was an honest dude. You knew who he was. You knew what he was about. You know, he wasn't, cutting through a whole bunch of shit. He wasn't trying to put himself above everybody else and beat people down. That's not what he was about. That's what I want people to say when I'm gone. Not sit there and talk about like, oh, he was a great businessman. Oh, he take advantage of your ass if he could. He was as slick as a snake in a tar pit. Like, that dude was a woo. He didn't give a shit about people, but he would take you for $1. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy. He was rich. Because those people actually wind up dying alone. Those are the people. And you might have people surrounding your bed, but a lot of times none of them people like your ass. And the only reason they there is because they trying to figure out what they get when you gone. And that's a different experience. But let's get to these phone calls. Like I said, we don't have a lot. So Linda had some phone calls. We have Linda up first. She had one that, like, there's somewhere that had technical problems. She had one that I can't use it all because it was like my part 2, and then all of a sudden it just went dead air. Like it, and then at the end it was like, I'll come back for part 3. Come back for another one. And then that was it. But here's Linda, first one.
Hey, James, it's Linda. Leaving you this SpeakPipe on the Monday afternoon at about 3:00 because I was listening to the Sunday show that you did. Number one, you gotta see what's going on with your equipment. I don't know if it happened live, but it would stop, it would freeze, it would get schmeary. So I don't know if someone hacked you or you gotta update something or do that thing you do, because I'm not that IT savvy, but it's and it's weird that it's only happening to you, because I've checked the other content creators just to get their pulse on the ending, so to speak. And no one's having any problems. So I don't know if someone's jacking up your stuff, but you might want to check that. But the one thing you were talking about, which I heard in between doing my dishes and turning the water off, was this. If we do whatever deep dive investigation, whether it is the catfishing, Mary should take ownership and should fully come out and say what she said. You just had me thinking that, this could have been a plot line that all of them concocted, and Mary would be the best one to be the actress in that one, because she.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And try to conceive any babies with her through artificial insemination or whatever they were going to do. So, yeah. So my thing is this. Hang on. Let me go on the second one.
All right. The second one was the one that got jacked up. But we'll go to the third one.
You haven't come out of that damn cult you were a part of. James, you got to make these SpeakPipes a little longer. None of them came out of it. None of them are healed. You haven't deprogrammed. You haven't really gotten over this. You haven't changed anything. You're not out of it. All of them are still in it. All 3 of them are still in it. None of them are deprogrammed. I don't care who got a release, who didn't get a release, who's thinking about it. If any of them are listening, I think all of you are full of shit. All of you are a poor excuse for women and mothers. I know you don't have the same morals that the majority of us here on this channel do, or maybe around the United States, even in the state that it's in with the lunatic in the White House. but you are the ones that are on TV. You were the ones that sold us this show, and here we are saying, okay, alternative lifestyle. You're trying to present that you're not with child marriages, abuse, or whatever. You may not be with child marriages, but you showed every form of abuse. Every form of abuse, because you're not going to tell me that Cody didn't lift hands to you and the kids heavily behind camera. So I'm saying to say this. We do the investigation. It goes where it goes. There's no favorites. If they're all guilty, they're all guilty. Period. None of them pay our rent, mortgage, food, or light.
You said I ain't paying my bill, so I say what I want to say. You know what I mean? What your parents say? As long as you living under my roof, I'm moving out. You know. Yeah, that's I dig what Linda's saying. I get what she's saying. Because push them down and shove, we have to be able to call them out. And there, like I said, even with the catfish stuff, because of the way they set it up, do I think that they're capable of lying about it? Sure. To try to keep that money coming in, because the catfish, coincidentally dropped at the same time they were talking about kicking them off the show, canceling the show. All of a sudden, the catfish dropped. So, once you pull back, and this is why I'm not a big fan of getting caught lying, because once you get caught lying, everything you do becomes suspect, because everything now is possible. Instead of me just being like, oh, that catfish was set up because it was a wedge device used by Cody and Robin to try to separate Mary from the family, based off of what they're saying. I'm not even saying Cody and Robin, but based off of what the entire cast is saying, there's a possibility that the whole catfish thing was just it was just a ploy for them to put out. Part of the reason why, I could make the argument, I think you could make the argument that the reason why Mary doesn't want to talk about it in detail is because it wasn't true and it went on longer than she was hoping it would go on. It's not just a sense of, oh, I'm embarrassed that this happened. It's that I don't want to talk about it because it was just supposed to be a plot point that we put out, save the show, and never supposed to discuss again. But we keep bringing the shit up. So, so I think that's the case. Probably not, but just saying. Here's Linda's last message.
Promise this is my last one. Like I said, you need to make this longer. They owe us nothing. We owe them nothing. So I think, James, you're correct that this catfish was a setup. Was it a setup with TLC to get the storyline moving because they were losing traction? They were losing an audience. And if their purpose was to show that this alternative lifestyle works, they failed miserably. And when they failed, they should have gracefully walked away. But instead, they let the monster out of the bag, which Cody showing his true.
Oh, I did it again. I don't know. Some people, it's like
toes in, balls to the walls when they're wrong. I've only seen that on Investigation Discovery when they have these psychopaths that have committed mass murders or just tortured and killed a loved one or a family member. Cody showed who he was. And if he's the best that the AUB has to offer, the American government really needs to shut them down. So I say this. I think it's good that we're checking this and investigating this because you know what? You took my time. I watched this. There's a lot of kids that watch this. There's a lot of young adults. And you gave people ideas and you gave them wrong ideas. But at the end of the day, I'm for the truth. Expose them.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. Like, I think that if I'm TLC interns, take notes. I'm less for me. I'm less interested in seeing basically rehashes of old story, tired ass storylines and tropes. We're going to watch Aurora get planned and get married. We've seen that shit ad nauseum with the other kids. We watched McKelty get proposed to, get married, go through the whole process of organizing her wedding. Same thing with what's her name? Damn. That's how you know your ass in trouble when I start forgetting people's names. Aspen. We watched that with Janelle's daughter, Maddie. You know, we've seen that shit already. And so we're just going to keep watching it over and over and over and over and over again, just with different people. We watched Cody and Robin plan their wedding. We watched Christine and David plan their wedding. I'm weddinged out. What I would rather see, and this is real talk, I'd rather see if they're going to do like a reunion. I'm not interested in seeing a reunion with Cody, Robin, and a bunch of people who have nothing to do with each other reuniting. I would rather see Christine reunite with Kirsten, her aunt, you know, and have a conversation about polygamy, where Christine was with polygamy and her understanding of polygamy versus where she is now, with the aunt who is working with organizations to try to get people out of polygamous cult-like relationships and save them and rescue them from those relationships and provide, because when they leave, this is what I was talking about before. Oh, Christine and the OJ3 wives are my heroes. They're my heroes because they were able to get out of a bad relationship. Her Aunt Kirsten works with women and young men who have to leave these relationships or these situations with nothing but the clothes on their back. She works to help provide them with clothes, food, and a place to stay, and hopefully opportunities so that they can learn to start building their lives outside of their relationships, outside of this cultish type of environment. And I would love to hear from her. I would love to hear from her perspective of, you know, if we're going to talk about polygamy, since they were such strong proponents, the OG3 as well as Cody and Robin, the Brown family, because they were strong proponents for polygamy and how great polygamy was. Now that you guys are out of polygamous relationships and you've all started taking steps towards saying that this, maybe with the exception of Janelle, that this isn't a great lifestyle to be in, how wonderful would it be for you to connect with people who are actively working with people to try to save people from these situations? You know, people who don't have a six-figure, mid to high six-figure salary or $1 million a season salary and decide to leave a relationship. People who actually have to struggle to get out of those relationships, and the people who work with them. Let's hear that conversation. I'd be way more interested in watching that than watch them sit around and cry and pretend like they give a shit about this young lady getting married to Brody. And I'm not even trying to offend Aurora or Brody. I'm not coming at them. Y'all, I hope you guys get married. I hope you're happy. But it doesn't really do much for me. I don't think it's really interesting. That's y'all business. So I'm willing to let y'all have y'all business. You know, y'all don't tell me shit about your relationship anyway. Why would I care if you get married? Sorry, not sorry. You know, but I am interested, like, especially if we're going to do, and again, this goes back to what I was saying before in referencing just scrapping. This goes back to the idea notion that now all of a sudden you guys want to be, you know, Captain Save a Young Lady. Captain, I'm gonna try to help these young girls and guide them and help for the beneficial nature of women and to empower them and give them strength. That to me would be a great way for you guys to help them find strength. People who are in these bad relationships, help them to find strength. Be that guiding light for them and show them that you're an ally to their situation because you survived that situation. You're in a unique position, a far better position than I'm in, you know? And I think that that's an important conversation for you guys to have, but I just don't see TLC doing it. You know, because that conversation would be unsafe because it'd be too hard to have. Somebody might have to actually admit that they were wrong. So it's unsafe because it's uncomfortable. There's a difference between being uncomfortable and being unsafe. You know? Again, I go back to like I said with my kids. If I do something wrong, it's not unsafe for me to apologize. It's kind of scary when you don't. You know, Share Bear, what's going on? Next up, we got Miss Carter, Tanya Carter in the house.
Hey, James. I'm listening to your show from Sunday, and thank you for continuing to cover the sister wives foolishness. I think there was one point where you were asking, like, who do we think the new viewers are? What do we think the new viewers are thinking? I don't think, are there new viewers? Like, what would they be watching? Like, imagine even coming in 19 when Big G's was, when they were burying Big G's, it's like, they don't know him. They don't know this family that's having this funeral and this guy who's walking around this town talking about signs he used to sell. Like, and then season 20, like, again, what are we talking about? Aurora brings a boyfriend home and their relationship is between her and God and him, and with him, God, and her. Like, what? I would turn the channel so quickly. Like, why are people watching this dumb shit? I don't know. I don't think there are any new viewers, and I don't think there's going to be any old viewers personally when 21 comes out, because what are we watching? I don't want to sit there and count how many mugs David and Christine have on shelves in their kitchen, and I don't want to see Robin picking out a wedding dress if they're doing a wedding special. Like, ugh. I don't know. I think it's over, and I'm happy.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a good point too. Like, like you tune into a show and you see a 22-year-old woman. Well, that's between me, him, and God. And between God, him, and me. Click. No, thank you. What are we watching? I'm getting baptized. I would like permission to go to church. How old are you? 22. What? You asking permission to go to church at 22? What are we doing? You know, I'm at 19, I'm getting my ears pierced. And I'm going with my dad to get my ears pierced. Excuse me? You know what I mean? And I know there's somebody who's when they coming up with these ideas, they're like, this shit gonna get them, yo. This gonna kill it. This gonna be the one. Yeah. I would just be surprised if there's new viewers, like, because you'd have to stomach a lot. And then trying to go back and watch old episodes. And like I said, if you depend on the platform that you're on, in some cases, those older episodes beyond season 18, not even you can't watch season 17. Anything before 17 and before are unavailable on several platforms that'll show Sister Wives. So why is Cody acting different? That's why, because they limited the access to the older shows to when the wives left the family. And if Cody is mad or hurt and he's mistreating his wives, then to the average person, that's understandable. He's disagreeing with his ex-wives, and he might say some mean and nasty things about his ex, or his exes may say some mean and nasty things about him. It also becomes convenient because he's saying that the whole reason why my kids don't speak to me is because we're getting divorced and the kids are siding with their moms. But it's not because I did something wrong as a parent. They're just siding with their moms. And that's completely different than what we watched from season 1 all the way through to season 17. That's why, in my opinion, when you go to certain networks to try to watch Sister Wives streaming, you can't get season 17 because it was season 17 where he told where he told Isabel with her back surgery, I can't be away from my family for that long. I can't go with you to get back surgery. In fact, why is your mama going? You should go by yourself to get open back surgery. That was season 17. That's why you can't get season 17, in my opinion. But you can watch them on Special Forces. Just saying. But we got another message from Tanya.
The other thing, too, that you were talking about, like the mismanagement of money. Like, they've always made six figures, each one of them. And one of our community had said that the wives probably were not even making that much. New empty nester, I think that's her name. Which is true. They weren't. They were probably making like 30,000 out of the 100 because their 100 went straight into the family account, which Robin and Cody had control over, and then they would just tell Cody how much money they need for that month. And they were probably like still buying for his love and affection and approval. Probably like, Cody, I only need 5,000 this month. I've budgeted. Aren't you proud of me? I only need 5. Oh, that's great. Yeah, you're you're putting your money together and using it wisely. Really, while Robin and him took the rest of it like dumbasses. Like, I truly believe these women were probably only taking about 30,000 out of that paycheck. So they were not able to save any money to do anything. And even with that 30,000, they still weren't saving it and doing things properly, because I know people that were making 30,000 with a full family and able to save, like you were saying. Like, so I can't with them.
Yeah, I believe that. Like, I can see that they were making crazy money, and he gave them a little stipend of their money, only to turn around and say, criticize them if they needed additional funds. What you need all this money for? What you doing? You need to manage your money better. Meanwhile, him and Robin, they're going to steak joints. Got them eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. He going to steak places. But again, one of the challenges that you have is that these ladies, we can sit and make the excuses that this isn't how they were raised, they were brought up in a cult, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But unless you can demonstrate that they lacked capacity, that they basically aren't functioning as adults, and in some other way they were deficient, they were, as far as the law is concerned, they were making choices and decisions. This is one of the challenges that they have. Courts don't take into account the way you were raised. They don't. If you agree to something, if you have capacity to agree, you in other words, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just making bad choices. Courts can't protect you from bad decisions. Courts will not protect you from bad decisions. So if you let this man spend your money, then you just without money. And it's unfortunate, but it just kind of is what it is. Like Tanya was saying, like, it's entirely possible that they were making mid to high six figures a piece per season, only to have 90% of the money that they were making paid out to Cody and Robin, who were using the money for whatever they wanted. And if I'm going to be a complete devil's advocate in this situation and side with the devil, and I would make the argument that, yeah, Cody might have did it. That makes them bastards. Okay, we'll acknowledge the fact that he took money and he was spending it. The problem that I think the wives would have is they would have to demonstrate that they were unaware or unknowing that he was doing it. And it's hard to say that when we, as the fan base, as Tanya had said earlier, are sitting around counting dolls. We're sitting around looking at artwork on the walls. We're looking around. Mary said that she went to a art studio with Cody, saying she wanted this artist because this was her favorite artist. Cody said, well, I'm buying this for Robin. You can come over to the house and view it and look at it over there because her house is the museum. In that situation, Mary knows how much that piece of art costs. So you can't claim ignorance. If he's driving up into your house, and at one point he had 3 different versions of the Lexus 300. And that's just the Lexus. He had a $100,000 pickup truck, 250, I think it was, King Cab 250. You know what I mean? He had a $100,000 truck. And if you're sitting there and you're watching him pull up or drive by your house with these expensive things, every time you see him, he got a different Rolex on. You can't say that you thought he was, I thought he was being a good steward with the money. At some point, it's not what you knew. And this is the standard that some people just kind of overlook when it comes to court stuff. It's not just what you knew. It's whether they apply a reasonable man standard of would a reasonable person be able to assess that this thing was going on. And I think a reasonable person, which doesn't mean somebody who was raised in a cult, but on average, a reasonable person would recognize that if we all making the same amount of money and we're all supposed to be kicking in and making sacrifices, and I'm sitting here, me and my kids are hungry as shit. Our fronts touching our backs because we starving, eating damn cereal for dinner. And every time I see you pulling past me in a brand new car on your way to Ruth Chris, Capitol Grill, the Palm Steakhouse, or wherever, I'm out back trying to put together some tomato and mayonnaise sandwiches or some mustard sandwiches. And then through the air, waffling through the air, I smell the delicious flavors of some Wagyu steaks being grilled in the back of Robin's house. Then I should have known that he was stealing, or I won't say stealing. That's inappropriate, James. Bad James. Bad James. That he was allegedly misusing some of the funds. Those are some of the challenges that you have to try to get around. They should, if they didn't know, they should have known. Like, you don't get rewarded for being willfully ignorant in court. They will be mad at me for that too. Is what it is, though. Next up, we got Mary.
Hey, James, this is Mary. Hey, I just want to talk about Mary and Cody. Mary going on the apology tour, and then also Mary when she says that the joke was on Cody, where she only stayed 12 years and not 20. So Mary Brown moves to Vegas. Cody tells her he's trying to erase her out of his life because he has Robin. She doesn't fully understand any of that. So he goes on to tell her, you're going to have 20 years of hell like you just put me through. Mary goes on to agree to stay. She agrees to the abuse. She agrees to the financial abuse. And then she tries to say the joke was on him. She only stayed 12 years. I don't think she fully understands what's going on with the situation. Mary, you stayed 12 years. You were Cody and Robin's punching bag to abuse you verbally. This is insane. Nobody says that. Nobody stays when someone says that to them. He fully carried out what he said he was going to do to you, and you didn't care. You stayed. You need to acknowledge that. Then you go on an apology tour after all of these 12 years or 14, and then you proceed to hug him at the start of it. This is like Stockholm Syndrome. I don't know, James. Make it make sense.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Like, it's just, like, the whole thing is problematic. Because even, like, Lady Amano said, like, the 15,000 in Robin's backyard. Yeah, if you go over, she got, her backyard, your backyard is a dirt pile. You know, your kids come in the house looking dusty as shit when they go out back to play. And her kids got a $3,000-$4,000 jungle gym, I think that jungle gym is like probably closer to anywhere from 5 to 10. But they got like a $5,000, $10,000 jungle gym. Then they also had a in-ground trampoline. They had a fire pit, seated area. They had the gas grill, like the whole nine back there in the back of her house. We was all being treated the same. Are you serious? Like, again, just because you drinking a Kool-Aid, like I was saying earlier, just because you choose to make the excuse, you can't expect the judge to make that same excuse for you. I don't even know if they would even take that shit into consideration. Like, well, they grew up in a cult and they were sheltered as children and this, that, and other. Because if that's the case, if you are saying that you're, because this is the challenge, this is the mental challenge that I would have in this situation. If you're saying that you're incompetent to be able to understand that Cody and Robin were spending money inappropriately because you just didn't know because you're so incompetent, then how do you have standing to bring a lawsuit against me to try to get your money back? Because if you were too incompetent to understand I was spending the money, you are certainly too incompetent to get the money back. And even if you could bring the suit, they say you had standing and you could bring the suit. Once you're awarded the money, you would have to go into the money would have to go into some kind of conservatorship, because there's no reason why you could argue. There's no way you could argue that somehow I'm better now. Like, it's problematic. Like, this shit is like, it's crazy problematic. You know? And again, this isn't even me picking on, like, the crazy part is, what's weird to me is when you tell the truth about a thing and people say that you're being nasty or you're picking on people because you're telling the truth about a thing. That's how the system works. You know? That's how it works. Like, I can't say that I'm crazy. You know who tried that? DuPont. There was a from the DuPont family down in Delaware. There was a guy, he had a wrestling coach he was messing with. This guy is staying in his house. Then he got jealous about the wrestling coach. I think he wanted to see his wife or some shit. Like, it was a weird situation, sex situation. And the DuPont guy messed around and unalived the guy, his house guest. And on one end, when he showed up to the criminal trial, he was wearing a suit, had his hair pulled back in a little man bun, beard groomed, the whole nine. Then when he would go to the other court to declare, like, and he say, like, Your Honor, I can't be, well, he would say, Your Honor, he showed up to civil court, dressed up, groomed up, the whole nine. And he said, Your Honor, they're trying to put me in a conservatorship to take my money and take control of my funds and my assets. And I have complete control. I have cognition, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can't do it. Then he go to criminal court. He'd have like his face all ratty. He wear like a robe, sit in a wheelchair and just stare into space the whole time and say that, Your Honor, he's crazy. He doesn't have capacity to commit murder. He don't know what he did. He's out of his mind, Your Honor. He's insane. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't go into criminal court and say that I'm crazy as cat shit, and then turn around in civil court and say that I'm sane as I'm sober as a priest, and I'm sane as a wise man. And you guys have to allow me to deal with my money. In this case, like same. You can't say that I was so incompetent that I didn't recognize that Cody and Robin were stealing money, but I want to get that money from them so that I can make investments and I can control my estate. That's the problem. So you crazy on Monday when he's spending the money and taking the money, but by Friday, you okay? You good now? And that's the part, that's the heavy lifting part. But let's take a listen to Mary's next message.
Hey, James, part 2. Hey, this is Mary. Hey, I just want to go on. So then Janelle decides to go on the same thing. She has a fight on air over Christmas, and she tells him to F you. Not only that does she agree to this, she drives an hour and a half to meet him, and then she's gushing over all of this. Is there only 3 people in the world that will meet with Cody? Because none of this makes any sense. In real life, this would never happen. Nobody would ever go near a person that's been swearing, cussing them out, and you're fighting with. Nobody agrees to this. Yet all of these women agreed to this meeting. I don't know if it's just money or what's going on. Christine, you sat there. All 4 of you women sat there, listened to Cody's knife in the kidney. You never got up, called the cops, threw them off your property. Nothing. You're sitting there like he's asking you to play jacks and twiddle your thumbs. You're all just sitting there. Nobody has a reaction. It's either fake and you're doing this for the money or what? I'm just sick of the lies or what is really going on, or if you're all immune to verbal abuse. Christine, if you're not going to put up with David talking to you like that, then you need to acknowledge that you should have never put up with Cody talking like that to you and your kids. Well, let me know what you think, James.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Like, I think that's kind of the line that we're crossing is just the because I think the fans, they want to see the consistency. And again, like consistency in reality. And that's one of the struggles. Like when they complain that the fans are making inappropriate assertions or da-da-da. 9 times out of 10, what the fans are doing, what content creators are doing, is they're trying to make sense of a situation that as presented makes zero damn sense. When they came out, for instance, when they came out and started talking about the whole premise of the backdoor deal, I believe, and you guys could correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but I believe I was one of the first people, if not the first person, to come out and say that the very concept of a backdoor deal as presented on the show makes zero sense and has zero credibility. I think I was also the first person to come out and say that the big move from like way back when, the big move from Las Vegas or Utah to Las Vegas for the reasons that they cited made zero sense. It's just not rooted in reality. I'm telling you, as a person, I know how the court system works. I know cops. I know a lot of cops. And I don't think there's one cop I know who would not go to Vegas for free, not only for free, get paid to go to Vegas so they could pick up a family. I don't know one cop that wouldn't be like, yeah, they're going to send me to Miami. They're going to pay me to go. So I'm making money when I go. I'm going to be on the clock. And I'm going to get per diem. So they're going to give me a stipend that I can spend or I can save or do whatever I want to do. And when I get there, and I get food vouchers. So I get to go, like I get so much money for to decide where I'm going to eat and what I'm going to spend my money on and what I'm going to eat. I'm going to go, and I got all that for free. I'm going to get some more money. I'm going to just go to the bank. They're giving me a hotel room. They're giving me a flight. I'm going to go to the bank, get some money, and I'm going to have some spending money in my pocket. They're going to pay for my food. And I'm going to come out of there with crazy ass overtime. Who's not going to get them? That's why that whole shit didn't make sense to me. And if a district attorney decides that they want to arrest you and they go down and they talk to a grand jury and they get an arrest warrant sworn out, they get you indicted. There is no stopping it because, they moved out of the jurisdiction. I call bullshit on that. I call bullshit on it just so happened that we're gonna move to Arizona in the middle of the school year because they moved to Arizona in I think it was the summer. I think they moved in the summer, right before school started. We're going to move to Arizona. And look at Lou. It just so happened the date's going to be in Arizona. That shit don't make no sense. So content creators went back and they made the stupid shit that y'all say make sense. And now you mad because we're making your story make sense? We're rooting your story in some form of reality? You said that this happened. The only way it could happen is XYZ. The way you described it was bullshit ass 1, 2, 3. And we're saying that's impossible. Can't happen that way. The only way this could even be a thing is if it's XYZ. ABC 1, 2, 3. Just saying. Just saying. But we have Candace.
Hey, James, it's Candace. I just wanted to get your take on this. I was listening to another YouTube creator who was just talking about the Tata Farms thing, and just that a lot of people on Reddit are just saying it's never going to happen. And it's been 2 years since they got whatever the permit to do a business there, but it's all on wetlands, and it's just not probably going to be a viable place to have a flower farm. And just speculating that this is a grift, that they're just selling these t-shirts and whatever, and they're just going to build their houses there, and that's it. And I started thinking about it, and I kind of agree. I don't really ever see this farm coming to fruition because it takes an incredible amount of work and business savvy and all that to get something like that up and running. And I just don't see Janelle doing that, or Maddie. And Caleb's sick with his kidney issues. So anyway, I just wanted to know what you think. If this is ever going to happen, I kind of feel like it's never going to happen. And I just think it's a pipe dream, or it's a grift, one or the other. All right. Thanks.
Well, I'll say this. I think, because I think I'm familiar with the content creator you're speaking about who talked about this. I don't know anything about like this being on wetlands or what the condition of the Tata Farms is. I don't know. Like, it was my understanding. I was always under the impression that this was a flower farm or some kind of farm before. So I don't know whether that's true or not or whatever. What I do know is this: farm work, ranch work is hard as shit. Okay? It's hard as shit. Like, it's not work that you just casually decide, you know what I'm going to start a farming business. You work as on a farm, that's early mornings. That could be potentially late nights. And you back up early, crack of dawn early. Like, I'm talking about you waking the roosters up early to go out and do what you got to do for farms. It's hard, back-breaking work. It's not easy, right? And that's me giving like straight up, salute to farmers and ranchers. That, it takes a lot, especially ranchers. It takes a lot to put a steak on a plate. It's not easy. It's not easy work. And to that effect, to that end, I would also say that it's not glamorous work. So a lot of what they would do on Tater Farms in order to make that business successful are things that the average consumer of reality TV shows would never watch. It's just not because you're doing it's a lot of hard work, but it's a lot of repetitive work and consistent work. If they got into Tater Farms for real, between Maddie and Janelle, like, I don't know if they would be able to shoot a damn reality show. I don't think they would have time because, your flowers and your crops don't give a shit about your shoot schedule. you got to be out there, fertilizing. You got to be out there planting. You got to be out there harvesting the whole time. You have to do like pest control. Like it's just a lot. Like it's a lot. I'm and I'm speaking from a very pedestrian perspective. And it's not just something that it's not a weekend warrior thing. It's beyond a lifestyle. Like this shit is hard. And again, I don't think that anybody is going to sit there and watch like we're up. It's 4:30 in the morning. Maddie is coming downstairs. She's going to get onto whatever piece of farm equipment she's going to work this morning. And she's going to go out, clean this, clean that, do this, do that. And then by 8 o'clock, she's going to go in the house and she's going to start making breakfast. Like, you understand? You done did 4 hours already before you even get breakfast. You on that farm working your ass off. And I don't know if the fan base is going to sit there and watch you do it. I just don't. Like, I know there's people who have like the best hopes and I want to support Janelle. I want the best for her. But that shit is like watching paint dry. It's not exciting work. It's just not. It's hard. It's hard work. That's also what makes it hard. Is the fact that it's not exciting. So I don't know. And if we're gonna be honest, and I'm not even trying to take no shots because honestly, I don't know if I don't think I could do farm work and make it successful. So I'm not trying to take shots. I'm just saying from a family who I watched throughout the seasons, like Christine went out and got a real estate license that she never used because it was too much work. It was rumored that Maddie came off of the podcast that she was shooting once a week because the shit was too much work. Like, so Janelle, she showed up to work every day and she likes working and she like being out of the house. But that's a different, like saying I love working every day and going to an office and sitting in an office is one thing. Saying you love working every day and you getting up, going outside, and every day is a little bit different because you got to deal with the elements and everything else, the rises and falling, the successes and failures of farming. And when I say I don't know if I could do it, that's me. I'm giving, you don't understand. I'm giving mucho respecto to people who farm. I'm giving much respect. Like be out there in the heat, be out there in the cold, breaking earth. You know what I mean? A backyard gardening is not farming. Say that one more again. Backyard gardening is not farming. I grow my own food. You got like one tomato tree. You got a lemon tree. You got an orange tree. You got an apple tree. That's different than having an apple grove or orange grove where you just out there with baskets, just picking fruit the whole time. And if you don't get to the fruit will rot on the vine, which could incur all kinds of pests and stuff coming onto your farm that you have to now try to figure out how to get rid of in a safe and possibly humane way that doesn't affect it using, try not to use chemicals and everything else that goes along with it. And like farming is like flower farming is a specific thing, knowing what you can plant, when you can plant it, how long it's supposed to take. If it doesn't take, what do you do? Invest in a bunch of money, which you could potentially lose. That could be a problem. Like it's a risk. So I don't know. What's this Mama Celeste said? And again, I'm just saying, like, I respect the shit out of farmers. I respect the shit out of them because it's a hard job. It's a hard job. Mama Celeste, I don't farm my garden, and it's several times a day. Weeding is not glamorous, y'all, but the weeds will take over the flowers if you don't. And that's what I mean. Like, you gotta, even gardening, like, you gotta love that shit. You gotta love being outside for hours at a time, potentially just pulling, trying to pull weeds or curate your garden so it doesn't choke your flowers and plants out. It's just, I don't know. So will they open up? I mean, I get it. If they don't, I'm not sitting up here saying, "Oh, you guys are rat bastards because you guys punks because you couldn't open a farm." Like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I'm recognizing that shit is hard work, and it's not only hard work. And I just want to be very clear about this: farming is not just the fact that it's hard, which it is. It's also, it can be heartbreaking work because you could work your ass off, do everything that you're supposed to be doing, and you have a cold front or a frost come in and kill everything in your damn field. You understand what I mean? Or you have like a real bad rainstorm, or you have a drought, kill everything in your field. And you've done invested time, money. You have to wait till the next season to try to recoup some of that loss. Like, farming is not just, it's a hard ass job to do. It's backbreaking, but it can also be extremely heartbreaking. It's a heartbreaking venture when things don't go well. That's it. I respect the shit out of farmers. Yeah. North Carolina hurricane. Yeah, in North Carolina, a lot of the southern states, North Carolina, Georgia, Louisiana, up through that way, Texas, Florida, they've been catching hell as far as the weather is concerned. Like, whether you believe in climate change or not, the climate is changing. And, like, you figure in the last 10 years, how many record-breaking storms, once in 100-year storms have we had? Like, it's not a once in 100 years. If it happens every damn year, this is not a once in 100-year storm anymore. This shit is the weather. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this shit is different, man. So I don't, and Janelle and them can do it. I hope they can. I hope they're successful. I don't want to naysay them and say they can't do it. I'm just saying it's definitely not as glamorous as they making it sound. We're going to start a flower farm. It's going to be awesome. That shit is work. You know what I mean? If they could do it, hats off to you. Y'all killing the game. But it's like somebody come to you and be like, I'm going to be a boxer. You know how much work is involved with you being a boxer? Well, I love boxing. I love shadow boxing. I'm the best boxer in my boxing aerobics class. That's not boxing, though. That's not boxing. I want to be a mixed martial artist. I'm the best in my Brazilian jiu-jitsu class. You take Brazilian jiu-jitsu? Yes, at the YMCA. We have no contact sparring roles. That does not prepare you for UFC. Have you ever been hit? No, we don't do that kind of thing. You are not ready. Shit sounds cool, but you are not ready. Last call we have for the evening is Janet.
Hey James, it's Janet. Was just watching some old episodes of Sister Wives and just noticing that like Cody lies all the time, which none of us are surprised by. But when Mary wanted to get the money for the B&B and he was like, we don't have the money. And so she did it on her own. And then afterwards, when it opens, he's there on the porch saying, I'm glad that we didn't give you the money because it was important for me to know that I could let you do this on your own and all this BS and stuff. And it's like, he changes the story constantly. Also, when they fronted the money for Robin's business, with My Sister Wife's Closet, I think when that went belly up, I think that she should have obviously she should have got a job anyway, but she should have been expected to pay the money back for the investment because Mary had to come up with the money for the B&B on her own. Just another example of obviously how they're all treated differently, but like that business did not take off. They lost money. The decent thing to do would have been at least to get a job to try and get some of that money back to the people who contributed for you. But there's just every time I watch something else.
Yeah, I'll just say this. I think it's jacked up when Cody says to Mary, yeah, I just wanted to make sure you could do it yourself. You didn't want her to do it. I think deep down, Cody didn't want to invest in the bed and breakfast, but he was hoping that Mary would move to the bed and breakfast so that he could take over Mary's ownership of the house out in Vegas. Like, I don't think that shit was a mistake. And I think that's why she spent so much time arguing with him and the family, Mary, that she wasn't going anywhere, that she's still part of the family, that she's not trying to move to the home, the B&B in Parowan, because at the end of the day, everybody was trying to play her out. Like, how many times did how many times on the show did she say, I am not moving. I'm not buying this house to move to this house. I'm not doing that. That's not why I'm doing it. Why she got to say it 50 damn times? Because that's what you guys want to hear. You wanted her to move to Parowan and leave her house and her equity for Cody to take care of. That was the whole point. And as far as like Robin paying the money back, what about Cody paying the money back? Because when Cody was talking to Mary, she asked for a loan. He said he didn't have the loan because he had took money out because he invested in a business and went belly up with his buddy, the guy he married. All of them were borrowing money and taking money and not paying the shit back right. But then you hold Mary to a different standard. And that's why I say, too, like, this is where it gets kind of sticky, because if we take a step back, like, Mary, you recognize this shit was going on. Why did you let it happen? Why did you keep playing this game with him? You know? Why'd you keep playing a game with his ass? You should have just cut him off, but you didn't. So, you know, like, oh, I'll make 6 figures a year, but the second I ask you guys for $80,000 of the 6 figures, mid sixes that I've been contributing over the course of years, I ask you for a fraction of that money, and you tell me that money's not for me, you would never see another check from my ass. You would have never seen, shit. As soon as they would have said, yeah, we don't feel comfortable with giving you the money, that's fine. Because you know what I'm going to do? My kid is grown. I'm going to go ahead and just keep my check, because I make enough with Sister Wives. I'm going to go ahead and keep my check, and I'm going to invest it in my property. And that way you guys don't have to worry about giving me shit, because I make the money. And I have the money because my paycheck is the money. I'm just not giving my money to y'all no more. Since we're going to play I got to justify why I want what I want with my money, I'm just going to stop giving you guys my money. And I'll just go ahead and buy what I want to buy. Let's do that for a little while. And I bet you if she would have said that shit, all of a sudden, we're going to figure out how to get you that money. Did I say I wasn't going to give it to you? I just said I didn't have it right now. I just said, give me a moment. We're going to figure it out. I guarantee it would have been a different damn conversation. But yeah, guys, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Before we go, as per usual, I want to make sure I give a shout out to everybody who may have some things going on. And basically, this is a practice we do where we put hearts in the chat for people to let people know that we support them, whether they tell us about things going on in their life or not. You know, some folks might be here, don't feel comfortable with sharing, or it's not the time to share, or they just want to keep it to themselves, whatever the case may be. Want to put hearts in the chat to let them know that we're supporting them. We have their backs. We're thinking about them. We're hoping for them, and we want the best for them. Some folks who actually have come to my attention that I want to mention are Jody Periscala, Carmel Cuties, Megatron, Miss Betty, Kathy Ferran, Allison Gaines, as well as Marlo Peterson. And for those who are curious, I don't necessarily get into people's why. It's not necessarily for us to know why, because technically half the time as much as we may want to, we can't necessarily fly in and solve their problems. So we don't need to know why. We just need to know that they need our support. And I would like to give them that support in the form of hearts in the chat. So I appreciate you guys doing that for me. Put hearts in the chat for me. Just letting people know we support them. Because, I think I told that story. Story time. Told that story before. It occurred to me when I was in college. First time I really thought about it. I was going through something. I don't even remember what it was. But I was having a tough time with something. Might have been a girl or something, some woman I was involved with. But I talked to this security guard, right? I talk to everybody. I'm that guy. So I was talking to the security guard. We're just kind of chopping it up. And he had said something, and it was important for me to hear it at the time. And to this day, I don't think that he understands or knows how important that comment or statement was to me at the time. But it was just the right time at the right moment, and it was something I needed to hear. Just knowing for me that somebody understood where I was coming from and put things in perspective for me. And I think that that's what the hearts in the chat does for people. We might not know what's going on with them or understand the intricacies of what their family is going through, but just the simple fact that somebody is there saying, I got your back, right? And the importance of that, it's a small thing for you, but it could be a huge thing for the people you're talking to. So thank you for putting those heart in the chat. Yeah, I believe that too, Allison Gaines. Like sometimes if you're a religious person, sometimes God or the Lord put people in your path, and they don't know why they're there. They just happen to say they have a message to deliver. They deliver that message. You don't know where it's coming from or why it's here. You just know the shit is on time. Something you needed to hear, So that's just kind of where I'm at. I think that's why the hearts in the chat are important to me too. Just keeping that going, paying it forward, if you will. I want to also thank Tanya Carter, Linda, Mary, Candace, and I know I didn't play her message tonight, but Daisy Reyes, thank you so much, Daisy. I got what you were saying. I'm digging. I 100% agree with you. I'm right there with you. Hopefully you're having an awesome day. And I want to make sure I thank the folks who contributed to the Super Cheats. So we have Just Scrapping in the house. Dropping the hits. The hit maker, Just Scrapping. We have Allison Gaines. And then we have Jacqueline Bassett. Okay, thank you so much. She joined the membership. Make sure you come through and check us out on Saturday for the members live roundtable. That'd be awesome. But thank you for joining. Welcome. Give you a little something. Then for everybody who kept things spicy, lively, and respectable in the chat, as well as the super chat folks, as well as most assuredly the Mega Mod Squad, Lizzie B, Carmel Cuties, and Brittany Not Brittany. I appreciate you ladies for everything that you do. Let me give you all a little something. All right. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. So I'm getting better, y'all. It's only 2 hours today. It's only 2 hours. But thank you guys so much. Join me again. I'll be back on Sunday. We'll be rocking out probably about 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I think at some point, maybe next week or so, I might rock the call-in show a little bit early, probably around noon Eastern Standard Time for some of the people over in the UK, because a lot of them the European folks miss a lot of the content just because of the time it comes out. I'm going out on a limb, y'all, and hopefully you guys enjoy my next video, which I'll be putting together. And I'm just going to be talking about like we live in a time of whataboutism. So as soon as you say something, you make an observation about somebody or something going on, they say, what about blah, 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 right? I want to parse the question about what if, and when I talk about what if, when we look at how Cody and them have approached this system, what if instead of it being, financial manipulations or neglect, abandonment, things of that nature, what if the abuse was more physical? How long would we be behind this show? How many episodes will we sit here and watch? How many tell-alls will we sit here and watch? And I'm going to explore that a little bit and how I feel about my part in that system. All right. But thank you guys so much. That's where I'm at. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're here this long, hit that like. Let a player know you like what I'm doing. But thanks so much. And we will have the replays for the lives on the new channel. Make sure you subscribe to that, because eventually I'll be doing all my lives on the My Take on Reality live channel. And the other channel, My Take on Reality, will be just for videos. All right. But thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate you. Take care of yourselves. Love yourselves. Make sure you appreciate those kickstands, those people you don't really pay attention to, but they tend to hold all the weight, and you don't really appreciate them or think about them while you're using them. But if they stop being there, you're going to miss their ass. All right. So take care of yourself, take care of your kickstands, and have a great night, rest of your night, and have a most awesome morning. That's my take. I'm James, and this has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out.